Invalid is a poem about old age and people's view and society's view on aging. Most people have a view on elderly people, including their own parents and relatives, when they get older and get into old age, that they aren't really relevant anymore, or that they are invalid. Some of them are invalids, or that they are invalids in society because, as I said, they think that they aren't important anymore because they've lost some of their faculties and functions due to their old age or due to certain medical conditions, such as being able to look after themselves. And as people get older, society and their relatives and just people in general don't look at older and elderly people in the same way anymore. This poem talks about that, and also reminds people that despite their opinions on older and elderly people, that they were young once too, like them, and that one day they themselves will age and become old too, and that aging is inevitable no matter what they think of older and elderly people and how much you try to avoid it or prevent it. Aging is inevitable, just like death, unfortunately, but that's just life. That's why I have the repetition of the lines, "Who am I a threat to? Am I a threat to you? Because you know one day you'll be here too." I almost have it, it's very story-like, invalid. That's why it's so long. Like, it is telling a story. It's telling a life story. It's telling about, you know, how like everyone not only views elderly people this way, but also tells a story about how they were young once too and how they lived their life, and even they might have had their view about their own grandparents or had that view about old people, but then they got older themselves. And the reason for the title Invalid, is that the word has two meanings. Valid, the word is actually valid at the start, where when you're young, you are the centre of attention in society, your opinions are important, you're treated with respect, you know, the world is at your feet. But then when you get older, you become more and more, your opinions are less important, and you do become invisible when you get older. So that's why I put the word in brackets next to the word valid. And the word invalid is about how people, you know, they can't walk or they can't talk or they can't move, either due to old age or due to certain medical conditions that people are susceptible to suffering from, or being predisposed to, or that they do go through as they get older and age and become elderly. So I put that double meaning of the title, and I wrote this poem because I have some of those fears myself, I'll admit it, but then I remember that aging is inevitable. I'll be older, and unfortunately some of my own, if I have children, some of my own grandchildren will have that view of me, and other people will just have that view on me, even though I used to have that view. So, and I had that view about my grandparents, which is really unfortunate, but at the same time you couldn't really help it either. So it is sad that society and people, and even myself, have that view on elderly people, but unfortunately it's just what happens. It shouldn't happen, but it just does.